Here, there, everywhere. That's where you'll find TKO8 Television's Jim Buchanan. Interesting, informative, entertaining, strange, unusual, uplifting, inspirational. All these things and more await you on this 30-minute television journey that'll take you here, there, and everywhere. Broadcasting from TKO8 Studio C, here's Jim Buchanan.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the inaugural broadcast of Jim Buchanan's Here, There, and Everywhere. I'm your host, Jim, and most of you out there will know me as TKO8's news director. Well, for over a year now, I've been given the wonderful opportunity to meet a lot of great people, see a lot of interesting things, and to go to some very interesting places. And that's what this show is all about, both here locally, there, just a short drive away, and of course, everywhere, thanks to the internet. In this episode, I'll bring you a follow-up report on the fellow we at the office referred to as the Lawnmower Man. That's Lucas Van Ingen, who made a stop through Harrison on his coast-to-coast tour of America on a Craftsman lawnmower. Then we'll take a little trip to the world's largest toy museum in Branson, Missouri, where curator Tom Beck gives us the grand tour there. And we'll wrap up this 30-minute adventure with an interesting exploration into the paranormal and share with you an encounter that was experienced by a group of Indiana ghost hunters that shared their story with the Ozarks Ghost Research Society founder Rick Breedlove. Well, all that and more await you in 60 seconds as I take you here, there, and everywhere.
Have a car to sell, a bedroom set, even a herd of goats? This is Shane with the Boone County Spotlight. We make it easy for you to earn some extra cash by advertising and are classified absolutely free. The Boone County Spotlight is mailed free to every household in Boone County twice a month. It's in the mailbox, not in the bushes. With a circulation of over 20,000, it's a great way to sell your stuff. And since it's free, every dime you sell it for, you keep. So go to BooneCountySpotlight.com now and submit your free classified ad. It's easy, it's free, it's Boone County Spotlight.
When you're looking for a boost, you need the Vitamin Store.
Now, where we at?
The Vitamin Store is located right next to Dollar Tree in Harrison.
Now, what all we got?
They've got the largest selection and best prices.
We'll meet anybody else.
Blue Bonnet, Solar Ray, plus vitamins, mineral, and sports supplements.
Hey, don't forget the fish oil.
And the Vitamin Store has the freshest fish oils in the area.
Fresher than a spring day.
Okay. The Vitamin Store on Highway 65 across from Walmart in Harrison.
Come see me. I make you feel better. Back on July 17th, I had the opportunity to chat with cross-country mower Lucas Van Ingen, who was stopping off at the Sears store in Harrison. Like most folks, I was more curious than anything as to why anyone would want to ride a lawnmower across the country. And here's that original report. The Sears store on Main Street in Harrison hosted an interesting guest this afternoon. As part of the Craftsman Across America tour, Lucas Van Ingen is traveling across the country on a lawnmower. It's been a long journey so far for Lucas and his crew, with many more miles ahead.
Well, we started out in Santa Monica, California. We've been on the road. This is day 63. We travel between 30 and 70 miles a day, 7.5 miles an hour, 7 miles an hour.
What about the man behind the mower? The TKO8 news camera couldn't help but ask about how someone would go about becoming an official cross-country lawnmower driver.
I'm originally an actor in New York, and I auditioned for it. My agent called me up and said, hey, you got a minute? And I heard the whole agent's office start to laugh, and I said, yeah, what's going on? They said, how would you like to audition to ride a tractor across the country? And I was like, are you kidding? That'd be awesome. And
at the end of the day, Lucas says it can be a bit grueling traveling across the country on a lawnmower, but there are some nice perks that come along too.
Sears made this for me.
And now joining me is the lawnmower man himself, Lucas Van Ingen. So Lucas, tell us all about the end of the journey.
I finished on technically on the 24th of August. I've been went out to Kohler after that to visit with the guys who made the engine, and then I went back to Chicago after that to visit with the guys who designed the tractor.
Well, going straight into the interview process, what was it like traveling across the country on a lawnmower?
It was overwhelmingly awesome. I don't know how to do it justice. I mean, you see everything change so slowly, and from deserts to woodlands, all the way across the country. It's just, but it still changes right in front of you. You know, it's hard to put it into words, honestly.
Well, going coast to coast on a lawnmower, I'm sure there were a lot of great things that you experienced, so on and so forth. But what was your most memorable moment from the road?
Most memorable moment was gave me a rope at one point, and they're like, "You want to rope a cow?" And I said, "Absolutely." It's sort of like I played around like that as a kid all the time. I said, "Yes, absolutely." I went chasing after a cow through the brush in his farm, and got pretty close, but tripped and disappeared in the brush and came back, and they're like, first of all, good thing you didn't get bit by a snake. Secondly, good thing you didn't catch it. And I was like, why good thing I didn't catch it? They said, well, that thing's 500 pounds or two, and you caught it, would have dragged you clear back to New Mexico.
Okay, not trying to sound like a negative Nancy or anything like that, but with every good there comes a bad. I'm going to pigeonhole you just a little bit and ask you, what was your least favorite experience while you were on the trip?
Least favorite part was also the hardest test, which was really coming out of Arkansas into Missouri. The heat became overwhelming. Probably right after I saw you guys, actually, the heat became just absolutely overwhelming, and I pretty sure I got heat exhaustion. At any rate, I got sick for a week where I was running a fever. Of all the things that I drove through, all the weather and getting pulled over by police and everything, the heat in Missouri was the hardest thing to do. It made the days extremely long.
So the next logical question is, what's next for the lawnmower man, Lucas Van Eegen?
That's a good question. I'm looking for the next thing right now. I would love to come up with another kind of adventure. I mean, it's funny. Before this gig, I never considered myself the guy seeking an adventure necessarily. But now that I did this, it just kind of falls into place. It makes sense to me. That's a new world for me. So I'm not quite sure, how to get there.
And in conclusion, inquiring minds want to know, Lucas, will you ever come back to Arkansas?
Absolutely. I mean, despite all the news and all this and everything that you see on TV, at the end of the day, people across the country are really, for the most part, generous, good people, and Arkansas is right up there with that, And yeah, absolutely, I'd love to go back to Arkansas.
Well, Lucas, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me. I do appreciate it and doing this follow-up report. Well, for all of you out there who would like to learn more about all of Lucas's experiences on the road, he actually chronicled the entire journey with a blog and video clips, and you can see those on the web at the website that you see on your screen, or if you're the Facebook type, you can search out Craftsman, and there just click on the Across America button for all to see. Great guy, that Lucas Van Eegen, and for me, Lucas's story is an inspirational one. He's a young man with a desire to become an actor, and I don't believe anyone could have found a better opportunity for exposure anywhere. Now, while I personally can't offer you the pull of a Craftsman audience, I would like to offer you talented folks in the viewing area a little piece of my stage. 1 year ago, TKO8 Television and Lone Producer Studios brought you Ozark Idols. It was a fun talent competition that allowed you, the viewer, to handpick the best of 67 contestants for a big show that we held on October 24th, 2009 at the Lyric Theater. Well, now I'd like to extend the talent search again. Now, this time around, we're going to do it a little bit different. Those who would like to come on this show and show everyone what they've got can do so very easily. There's no competition, just simply audition. And here's what I need. If you're an artist who paints, sculpts, or takes photos, please submit copies of some of your work. For live performer types, please send me either a DVD or audio CD, whichever is applicable to what you do, along with the samples of your work. Now, please be sure to tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do. A headshot would also be nice, but not necessary. Now, to submit your audition application, you can do so by one of three ways. First, you can mail in your audition application packet to Talent, care of TKO8 Television, 500 North Main Street, Suite B in Harrison, Arkansas, 72601. Or you can email the packet to tko8@windstream.net. And you can just come on by, drop it off here at the station at the address I mentioned before, and it looks to be a lot of fun. And until then, I do look forward to seeing what all you got. Remember, whatever your talent is, it's worth sharing. Plus, you never know who may be watching. Well, another aspect of the Here segment of the show is that I really do care about what's going on in our community. And with this being an election year with a very full ballot and some hot topic issues, I'd like to pose one question to every candidate running in the Harrison and Boone County area. That question: why should I vote for you? It's just that simple and to the point. Each week, I'd like to offer the candidate 60 seconds to earn my and your vote. Now, voting is very important and is our right and duty as Americans, so I'd like to do my part in helping educate both myself and everyone else out there who will be heading to the ballot box this November. Now, you know, political hopefuls, I'm coming to talk to you so you can talk to all of us. If you can put all those signs out, by golly, you can come on TV too. Okay? Okay. Hey, coming up in 60 seconds, I'd like to take you on a tour of what I consider to be a legitimate fountain of youth. I'll be back in a moment as Jim Buchanan's Here, There, and Everywhere continues.
Cool 96.1 KCWD, your greatest hits.
5 months in a row, Toyota's #1 in retail sales, outselling all other brands. And 80% of all Toyotas sold the last 20 years are still on the road. It's no wonder people are buying Toyotas every day. And with free maintenance and national clearance event savings, the time to buy is now. Get 0 APR on 2010 Corolla, or pocket $1,500 cash plus $500 bonus cash, or drive Corolla for $159 a month, 35 months. Labor Day savings end Tuesday.
Welcome back, as Jim is ready to take you there.
For this part of the show, I would like to recommend to you a wonderful place that is well worth the gas money to get there. The world's largest toy museum, located on the Highway 76 music strip in Branson, Missouri, is perhaps a genuine fountain of youth. Now, while you may not literally get younger after taking the grand tour of the millions of toys on display, you will definitely feel younger. Now, before I get too carried away, let me introduce you to my good friend and museum curator, Tom Beck, as he gives you a quick teaser tour.
Welcome to the world's largest toy museum. I'd like to tell you a couple of quick things before you take off on your trip. This is the British Embassy Rolls-Royce 1959 right-hand drive. My wife calls it the Queen's car. It was attached to the British Embassy for many, many years. Jukebox from the 30s, bicycles 40s and 50s. This little bicycle here is a J.C. Higgins put out by Sears between 48 and 51. Of course, you recognize the Western Flyer out of the 50s. The Cadillac is one of my favorites. 1927, it weighs as much as 2 brand new Chevrolet pickups, just under 8,000 pounds. And Papa Bear sitting in there, he came from Silver Dollar City. Took 4 men to put him in there. As you go upstairs, my favorite area, motorcycles, antique fishing, farm toys, 18-wheelers. Down the lower level, The Story of a Christmas Carol, made in New York City, 1935. Back left, another great area, Western, Gene Autry, Roy Rogers, Tom Mix, Dale Evans, and Hopalong Cassidy. On the other side here, we have robots, Ninja Turtles, Superman, Batman, Dick Tracy, cars, trucks, and construction. I love all the action figures as well. Then you'll head into the Harold Bell Wright Museum, the one that wrote Shepherd of the Hills. You'll see his gun collection, saddles, original manuscripts, and a wonderful movie. In fact, Mr. Ronald Reagan, we have his picture over here, when he read Harold Bell Wright's first book called That Printer of Udell's, he accepted Jesus as his Savior. And then the second book, Shepherd of the Hills, is what put Branson on the map. After you come out of the movie, you'll go into Dolls, Disney, Ventriloquism, Shirley Temples, and Barbies, and you'll be back in our gift shop in about 3 or 4 days.
And the funny thing is that Tom's not kidding. As you take your self-guided tour, you can get lost for hours peering into case after case of vintage toys, and no matter what your fancy, Tom most likely has an example of it under his big top. Die-cast cars, action figures like Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Star Trek, the $6 Million Man. The list really does go on and on. And of course, you'll find an incredible assortment of dolls too, from Barbies and Trolls to vintage ones that are, well, simply creepy. Another highlight of the museum is the other museum inside of it. The Harold Bell Wright Museum has an incredible collection of artifacts from the man who penned the Shepherd of the Hills book that made the area famous. Well, eat your heart out, Glenn Campbell. All in all, a trip to the world's largest toy museum is a great way to spend the day strolling down memory lane, one toy box at a time. Well, to learn more about the museum, you can log on to their website at the address you see on the screen, and that is www.worldslargesttoymuseum.com. And boy, that's almost like the world's largest web address too, but it's well worth the trip. Check it out. Hey, coming up in 60 seconds, we'll talk with Ozarks Ghost Research Society founder Rick Breedlove, who shares with us some of the ghostly encounters that have been caught on tape from everywhere.
Jim Buchanan's Here, There, and Everywhere will return in a moment to take you everywhere.
When the day-to-day routine has drained the color right out of you, let Hawaiian Heatwave help you get back your healthy radiance. With state-of-the-art high-pressure, mid-pressure, and standard tanning beds, bronzing beds, a stand-up booth, and the Cabana Mist UV-free tanning system, Hawaiian Heatwave can help you get that golden glow you've always wanted. While you're there, check out their complete line of tanning accelerators, moisturizers, and accessories. With membership programs starting as low as $14.99 per month, the staff at Hawaiian Heatwave will assist in selecting the right plan for you. Hawaiian Heatwave in Harrison.
It's a call none of us want to get. My father was seriously ill and was being placed in the ICU. I was in Dallas and worried about my father's condition as well as the level and quality of care he might be getting. When I arrived in Harrison, I found that the staff of North Arkansas Regional Medical Center had done an outstanding job of quickly evaluating and diagnosing my dad's illness. I was continually impressed with the cleanliness of the facility and the professional and compassionate treatment my dad received. From the emergency care to the critical care unit, then discharge, North Arkansas Regional Medical Center, you are getting it right.
Welcome back and hold on tight as Jim now takes you everywhere.
Well, before we get to the main meat of this final leg of this three-legged dog race I call a show, let me explain what I mean when I say everywhere. Now, the internet is probably the greatest communication and educational tool that man has come across in our entire history. With it, you can learn things, connect with old friends, travel to almost anywhere in the world with just a couple clicks. And with the internet, I've met some of the neatest people doing some of the most interesting things. And that's what this segment is all about. Got it? Good. Now then, one of the more popular shows created by Lone Producer Studios featured the Ozarks Ghost Research Society, or more commonly known as the Ogres. The Case Files program was a lot of fun and had a great run. And while the Ogres have stepped away from the television cameras for some time, they haven't stopped their explorations into the world of the paranormal. In fact, the group has been tossing around some ideas about a new show called Explorations and Encounters, featuring interesting findings from local folks as well as from other ghost hunters from across the country. Ogres founder Rick Breedlove will be up in a moment to share with you a very interesting piece of video proof collected from a group of Indiana-led Ghostbusters founded by Bob Newkirk. But right now, though, the producers would like to share with you a little clip from the Explorations and Encounters program.
The natural state abounds with locations rich in ghostly tales. Let's join Odie the Ogre as he travels Arkansas to learn about some of these naturally haunting places. Today's journey takes us to the stunning location that serves as a reminder of military history at MacArthur Park. Located in downtown Little Rock, the historic tower building of the old arsenal stands as the lone survivor of its 7 sister structures that were destroyed by war and time. Birthplace of its namesake General Douglas MacArthur in 1880, the building now houses a museum showcasing Arkansas's military heritage and perhaps much more. During the Civil War, Union forces quickly took control of the grounds and used its strategic location along the Arkansas River to establish a stronghold in the state. However, the ravages of war didn't escape the stronghold. Wounded men from both sides of the conflict were brought to the basement area that had been converted into a makeshift hospital. Hundreds of young men shattered by war took their final breath inside the cool and dark rooms. But not before field doctors practiced their archaic and sometimes brutal medical procedures on their broken bodies. Sightings have been documented by local law enforcement as well as the casual museum patron, and include spirits walking along the balconies, as well as the sounds of dancing emitting from the old ballroom. Perhaps the fallen soldiers see no need in letting their condition take away from the good times that can still be had inside the grand structure. We'll be back with more explorations and encounters in a moment.
Explorations and encounters. Fun and informative. Spooky and kooky. Well, as fans of the Ogres noticed, the group's mascot received a bit of a makeover, and that's thanks to the incredible artistic work of a fellow that the producers met on the net, way everywhere else, right? Timothy Barron is a freelance graphic artist who has done many notable works, including illustrations for Christianity Today and Campus Life magazines, as well as numerous other publications. Now, when you get the time, check out more of Tim's work online at timbarron.com. And just for the fun of it, here's another clip featuring the new and improved Odie the Ogre and his pal Zipper.
We'll be back with more explorations and encounters in a moment. But first, let's test your knowledge of fascinating facts with Odie the Ogre. The Irish would bury the corpse of a person suspected of being the victim of a vampire face down. It was theorized that if the individual did indeed become a vampire himself, what would happen when he awoke in his grave? Is it A, he would gnaw on the bottom of the coffin, killing himself by ingesting wooden splinters? B, as he turned into a vampire, his fangs would drive into the coffin, nailing him in forever? Or is the answer C, he would dig himself right down into hell rather than up and out of the grave? We'll bring you the answer in a moment as Explorations and Encounters returns.
So, do you think you know the answer? Well, we'll find out in a few. But first, join me in welcoming Ogres founder Rick Breedlove to the show. Good evening, Rick.
Well, Jim, thanks a lot for having us on here, and that went great. As a matter of fact, we've been busy now throughout this whole entire time speaking and talking to a lot of other ghost hunters from around the country, and one of the things that they've been doing is we've been asking and talking to them, and they've been sending us in all of their footages as long as we've been sending them our footages as well, and just kind of conversing back and forth on what we've experienced and what we've seen over the past years, and what we've had is just a really good time and really good conversations with them. Bob, I'd like to thank him, like you mentioned earlier, he is the founder of the Indie Ghost Hunter Society, and I was talking to him about some of the footage that he's sat there and sent us today. The clip I'm about to show everyone tonight is of the Hannah Mansion baby carriage incident.
Well, the Hannah Mansion baby carriage, we were actually there filming. Well, we weren't really even filming. We were doing a spot for one of the local radio shows here in town, and the DJ and his sidekicks and stuff, we finally had talked them into coming with us. And, you know, we weren't there for a real long. That was actually, you know, everybody thinks you have to be someplace all night long. That footage was actually captured about 6:30 in the evening. And what it was, we had set that up because there was they had talked at the Hannah house about a little girl that walked the hallway, and she liked to come into Grandma's room. So that camera is sitting in Grandma's room, looking across the bed out into the hallway. And as you watch the footage, you see one of our investigators and myself come by, because everybody was up in the attic. There was nobody else anywhere in the house. And when I was reviewing that footage and I seen that carriage move, I thought, okay, somebody is playing a trick on me. And I just kept watching and watching and watching. And next thing you know, here comes everybody downstairs. And I went back out there and I checked, you know, we checked the floors to make sure the thing wouldn't move by itself, but That's one of those old-style baby carriages that's made out of, like, the heavy metal. It's almost steel. And I tell you, when I seen that thing, you see it move that little bit, and then you see it really move. I just sat here in awe, and I was just kind of like, I don't know whether I can even put this out or not. I don't know if anybody will believe me. But yeah, I was sending out text messages. I was waking people up. I was like, you guys got to check your email and look at this right now.
Well, one of the things I do like about what Bob has sent me on that baby carriage footage is the movement, and you do sit there and see some of his investigators going through now. As in, from what we didn't show the viewers to what I've sat there and seen, is I've seen the whole entire footage, and I was actually able to see the members be able to walk through. But for running of the television time, we just kind of shortened that down for you folks out there. That way you could sit there and see it. One of the things that people will sit there and talk about this type footage is you don't see the very bottom of the carriage. And that is one of the unfortunate events about that is, so the non-believers out there will debunk it, sit there and say someone was down below moving it. But just like with anything, that's part of the excitement of this, is being able to sit there and catch that and do be able to question it, whether it is real or not. And that is one of the things that, being part of the Ogres, and we do encourage everyone, is to have their own opinions about it and sit there and say, is it haunted or not?
Thanks again to Rick Breedlove of the Ozarks Ghost Research Society. I'm sure we'll be seeing more from you guys and gals as the Halloween season approaches. That's called a tease, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for more information. Oh yeah, and now the answer to the Explorations and Encounters trivia question.
So, how did you do? The correct answer to our fascinating facts is C. The Irish believed that a newly evolved vampire would be so ambitious that his thirst for blood would encourage him to dig straight to hell. We now return to Explorations and Encounters.
So, how'd you do? Good job. Hey, coming up in 60 seconds, we'll talk about what's coming up on next week's show. Don't go away.
The tradition continues at Homey Hearth Bakery. Specializing in the best quality made-from-scratch breads, cookies, cakes, and pies, it's easy to see why they were recognized in Southern Living magazine and voted #1 bakery in Harrison year after year. All sandwiches are made with one of their many varieties of homemade breads, fresh vegetables, deli cheeses, and quality meats for a mouth-watering combination. Come in for lunch, and as you leave, grab some fresh-baked bread, pies, cookies, cakes, or some of their famous cinnamon rolls. Homey Hearth Bakery, 905 North Main Street in Harrison.
I want to ride. I want to ride. I want to ride. I want to ride. I want to ride.
It's never been easier to get on a Honda with fixed financing rates as low as 0.99%, up to $2,500 in bonus bucks, and much more. Right now at your local Honda dealer.
Come see us at 824 North Main in Harrison.
On next week's show, we'll again look a little deeper at some things going on here in the viewing area, as well as taking a little trip to some other places slightly out there. But the big thing I'm looking very forward to sharing with you involves a dark night. And this one isn't a ghost story. Oh, you just gotta love a tease, don't you? I hope you enjoyed this little journey to here, there, and everywhere with me. I'd like to invite you back this same time next week for another 30-minute television journey. And in the meantime, I would love to know what you think about the show. If you would give me a buzz by email at tko8@windstream.net, or you could really make my day by writing me an old-fashioned letter to 500 North Main Street, Suite B, Harrison, Arkansas, 72601. Maybe just make it, Hey Jim, care of TKO8 Television. It'd be fun. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear from you and see what you guys think about the show. Plus, be sure to get in those audition tapes, everybody. Let's show how talented the folks in this region really are. So, until next time, I'm sure we're going to see each other here, there, and everywhere. Good night.
Jim Buchanan's Here, There, and Everywhere is a Lone Producer Studios production in association with TKO8 Television. To learn more about the show, log on to TKO8.com.